Is this where I want to go? Yes, this is Mount Pleasant. This thing does not like to go into second gear from third. But it does like to turn. Alright, so you are asking yourself, why did he buy a Suzuki SV650 after spending a lifetime buying and owning only Kawasaki? And the previous bike was a Kawasaki, a Z900 ABS, super fine bike. There are a couple of reasons. There was not, and there has not been, a Z900 within 300 miles for months. They are popular in Asia, they are popular in Europe, but here in the US, not even. Nobody wants to buy one. So there are very few for sale. Either that or Kawasaki just only produces a few hundred to sell in the US. And I did have a few problems myself with the Z900. And it's not the Z900 so much as it is myself. Foist off, as we all know. I am a short little cuss. I am 5'7" on a good day with an updraft and a few dozen helium balloons. And my inseam is woeful. Adjustments. There we go. Hope that didn't disturb you too much. The seat height, oh, I know where I am now. The seat height on the Z900 was just about an inch too high. So I looked around for other 900cc bikes. Or 4 cylinders. And all their seat heights were even higher than the Z900. There was one that I found, it's a really good bike. I'm not going to mention the name and brand. But the seat height would have been at my waist. Now, you see here, that is not really a problem, okay? It wouldn't be a problem in 90% of the world. But this is Indiana, libertarian dream world, where the roads are maintained after a fashion. On individual contracts, lowest bidder. So, you can't see it because of camera resolution, but this is asphalt, okay? But it's got cracks in it, and ripples, and bumps, and divots. I'm not going to say potholes, because it's not a hole. There is asphalt there. It's just the asphalt has sunk. Where there are potholes, whoever gets the lowest bid comes out and just pours some hot asphalt in there and leaves it. And then after, oh, there's some right there, freshly poured with gravel on top. It sinks. Then the winter comes along, and the monsoon season comes along, and the ground underneath washes away, and the hole returns, only worse. So they pay somebody again to pour the cheapest grade of asphalt they can into the hole. You can't see it from this camera, but if you could see fine detail on the left here, I know it's the emergency stop place, but in many places it becomes the left turn lane. And it is full of trash and holes and poor repairs that fall apart. In the years that I have been here, we have had to replace Dermagerd. This is not going to be an accurate count. I would have to go home and look through the records. But by my count, we have had to replace 2 wheels on cars. I mean, just the wheel was so bent that it wasn't just a visible, oh, that looks like a dent. No, this is a will not hold air in the tire and goes thumpity 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 while you go rabbit hopping down the road. Just recently we had to have the front end redone on one car. Again, because of poor paving. And we've had to redo both sides, left and right, of the Celica. Bent pieces, broken pieces, yada yada yada, because of defective payment. What this means for me as a smaller rider, oh, didn't see that one coming. I'm following this guy too closely. I have to be very careful when I get to a stop light or, you know, four-way stop or stop sign or whatever. I have to be very careful which foot I put down, left or right, because this pavement may have a hole there, or a declivity, a concavity in which the foot sinks, and then the bike tips, and there you are. That happened to me, second month I owned the bike. I stopped, went to put foot down and sank, and the bike went down. Fortunately, there was a really nice person there who helped me pick it up against the angle of falling. I mean, if it had just fallen flat, I could have picked it up. But no, the tires were higher than the tank. That is not optimal for a motorcycle. And then there's the time I stopped at a local emporium, put down the kickstand, and it sank right through the asphalt and went down. So, for the next year or two, until my riding skills improve and or we move someplace that's civilized, I need a smaller, shorter bike. And that is what the SV650 is. It's shorter than the Z900. The seat height is lower. The turning radius is smaller. And oddly enough, the toe part of the side stand is broader than the one on the Z900. So it's probably not going to sink into the asphalt. It might. At any rate, I can flat foot this thing. And until my riding skills improve, that's going to be necessary. So I've got another 8,000 miles to put on before I can get another Z900. Yes, that is still the bike I want. Why? Well, the 650 is a good bike. It really is. It handles nice. Has good features. There's more ways to customize, add on, and change for the 650 than for the Z900. And it's also easier to modify, customize, accessorize, and etc. than the 900. The 900 is a more sophisticated design, more elaborate. For instance, the chain guard. To remove the chain guard on the Z900, you have to remove the muffler and a couple of other things. There are other places where it looks like the Z900 was designed by somebody from BMW. You have to remove 4 or 5 parts to get to something else that should be, in my mind, and on most motorcycle times. Easy to reach. But part of that is all the cosmetic plastic. Part of it's because of the trellis frame design. But still. And the one grief that I really had with the Z900 is that the engine is held in place basically by two, count them two, super long bolts that go all the way from one side to the other. So if you're going to do something that requires removing one of those bolts, you have to be careful. The engine has to be mounted just exactly right on a stand, or it sags and you can't get the bolts back in. And the engine has to be lined up just exactly right. Front, back, and center, side to side, to get that bolt back in, or to add the accessory on. Well, that sucks. When you're not mechanically adept, when you don't have all the tools and stands and lifts and extra hands of a motorcycle repair shop, that's kind of hard to do. And it doesn't help that I am as maladroit as a man can be. I was a star on the high school stumbling team. On the 650 though, yes, there are a couple of things where you have to remove multiple parts to get to something that should be easily accessible. But for the most part, everything is where it should be, right where it should be, held in place by one single short bolt. We just pull it out, put it in the tank, keep going. You don't have to have special equipment, or a special stand, or special skills. If you can screw and unscrew, which reminds me of the blonde joke, you can do all sorts of things to this one. So there we are. Which brings us, perforce, to this week's funny. If you, having got this bike and now having 300 miles on it, is very little considering I've had it for 2 weeks. It should be twice that. I went online the other day, Wednesday night, and just for grins and giggles, I looked up used Z900 ABS for sale, and lo and behold, there was a shop not too far from here, a couple hours ride, a 3-year-old Z900 that had the modifications that I was going to put on it, had only 3,000 miles on it. Seriously, 3-year-old motorcycle with 3,000 miles on it. How does that happen? At any rate, and it was available at the price that I paid for this SV650. As we all know, patience is a virtue. He who hesitates is lost. Chastity is its own punishment. And that's it.